So today's topic is classification of magnetic materials. So the magnetic materials are classified into 5 types. The first one is known as diamagnetic materials. Second one is known as paramagnetic materials. Third one is known as ferromagnetic materials. Fourth one is called antiferromagnetic materials. Fifth one is called ferrimagnetic materials. Okay, the magnetic materials are classified into 5 types. That is called classification. So classification of magnetic materials. The first one is called diamagnetic materials. Second one, paramagnetic materials. Third one, ferromagnetic materials. Fourth one, antiferromagnetic materials. Fifth one, ferrimagnetic materials. Among these 5 magnetic materials, these 3 magnetic materials show strong magnetism. So the magnetism once again is divided into 2 types: weak magnetism, strong magnetism. Among these 5 materials, magnetic materials, they once again classified into 2: weak magnetic materials, strong magnetic materials. So diamagnetic materials and paramagnetic materials shows weak magnetism. Ferromagnetic materials, antiferromagnetic materials, ferrimagnetic materials show strong magnetism. So the diamagnetism, the paramagnetism, ferromagnetism, antiferro, ferrimagnetism. So I'm talking about magnetism. So this magnetism comes from the presence of dipoles. The magnetism comes due to the presence of dipoles. The presence of dipoles in the material. Whether the dipoles means the spinning electron will act like a tiny magnet. This is a spinning electron. It spins around itself. It may spins in clockwise direction or it may spins in anti-clockwise direction. Whatever be the direction, the spinning electron will act like a tiny magnet. So when it is acts as a tiny magnet, it is called as dipole. Whenever magnetism takes place, there you consists of 2 poles. One is north pole, another one is called south pole. This is called dipoles. Okay, so like that there are number of dipoles are there. Okay, and you have to observe the alignment of these dipoles in the given material. You have to see the alignment of these dipoles. This is one dipole, this is another dipole, third dipole, like that. There are a number of dipoles are there. You have to see the alignment of these dipoles. Based on the alignment of these dipoles, the weak and the strong magnetism occurs in the materials. Okay, so in these dipoles, it is divided into 2 once again. One is called induced dipoles, another one is called permanent dipoles. Once again, the dipoles are divided into 2. That is called induced dipoles. Another one is called permanent dipoles. Induced dipoles, permanent dipoles. So induced dipoles means by application of electric field. Okay, they try to orient in the field direction. That is called induced dipoles. The permanent dipoles means the material itself has some dipoles. The existence of dipoles in the material takes place. That is called permanent dipoles. The material itself possesses some dipoles. Those is called permanent dipoles. So permanent dipoles are present in paramagnetic materials, ferromagnetic materials, antiferromagnetic materials, ferrimagnetic materials. So all these materials have permanent dipoles. All the materials have permanent dipoles. And diamagnetic materials have induced dipoles. Diamagnetic materials only have induced dipoles. So all the remaining materials will have permanent dipoles. So even though all this material consists of permanent dipoles, the magnetism of the material depends upon the alignment of the dipoles. Depends upon the alignment of the dipoles. How the dipoles are aligned in paramagnetic materials, how the dipoles are aligned in ferromagnetic materials, how the dipoles are aligned in antiferromagnetic materials, how the dipoles are aligned in ferrimagnetic materials. So based on the alignment, the magnetism comes. It shows weak magnetism or it may show strong magnetism. Okay. So among these, once again, these para, ferro, anti-ferro, ferri. Once again, among these four, the two will show very strong magnetism. Those two are known as, one is called ferromagnetic materials and anti-ferromagnetic materials. If we compare these four, which shows the strong magnetism. The strong magnetism is once again shown by ferromagnetic as well as ferrimagnetic materials. Ferromagnetic as well as ferrimagnetic materials. So our syllabus is constrained only to diamagnetic materials, paramagnetic materials, and ferromagnetic materials. So our classification, we are reading only these three type of materials: diamagnetic, paramagnetic, ferromagnetic. If you compare these three, these ferromagnetic materials very strong magnetism, and diamagnetic material shows weak magnetism. This shows weak magnetism, this shows strong. And these paramagnetic materials shows in between these two, weak and the strong. That's why called as feeble. That shows feeble magnetism. So these para and ferro both consists of permanent dipoles. Both paramagnetic as well as ferromagnetic shows existence of permanent dipoles, but based on the alignment of the dipoles in the material, it shows magnetism. So in ferromagnetic materials, the alignment of dipoles is spontaneous. The dipoles themselves align parallel to each other and forms a small region called domains. This is the themselves. Spins are parallel arrangement of spin, parallel and orderly arrangement. This is called parallel and orderly alignment. Due to that parallel and orderly alignment, these ferromagnetic material show strong magnetism. In paramagnetic material also permanent dipoles are there. Those permanent dipoles are random alignment. This is called random. These dipoles are aligned randomly. Okay, these dipoles are aligned orderly. There's a difference. Due to such an orderly alignment of dipole, that's why these magnetic materials shows strong magnetism. Due to randomly alignment of dipoles, this material shows feeble magnetism. Okay, and diamagnetic materials such are weakly magnetized. So if you apply field, you have to study by application of magnetic field also. We call it as B. B is called magnetic field. By application of magnetic field, how these materials are magnetizing, you have to see. Okay, what is its susceptibility value? What is its relative permeability? Whether the susceptibility depends on temperature or not. Okay, so what is its magnetic induction? So we'll study all this classification of these materials. So induced magnetic dipoles directed reverse to the external field. Okay, in diamagnetic materials, induced magnetic dipoles directed reverse to the. So there is no dipoles. There is no permanent dipoles in this magnetic material. So what it means? There are completely filled. These are called completely filled orbitals, or we call as completely filled shells or completely filled orbitals. When it is completely filled, what happens? If you observe the completely s orbital, s shell, we have sp, df shells are there, subshells. Subshells once again have inner shells. If you have p shell having some inner shells, px, py, pz, and d shell have once again inner shells. Okay, they have 5 shells are there. In d we have 5. So if you observe this s shell, so this is the spin of one uh, electron, one dipole. This is a spin alignment of another dipole. See, they are quite opposite to each other. So this is plus mu b and this is minus mu b. What happens to the net moment? The net spin magnetic moment becomes 0. Okay. So by application of electric field, what happens? They doesn't allow lines of these dipoles doesn't align to the field direction. Okay, that's why these materials, okay, shows magnetism in opposite to the direction of applied electric field. Okay, so this material shows magnetism. Okay, and diamagnetic materials are placed in external magnetic field. The materials are magnetized in a direction opposite to the direction of applied field. They are called as diamagnetic materials. So this is called paramagnetic materials. So there is random alignment of dipoles. By application of the alignment of permanent dipoles in the direction of external field takes place. So how they align? Randomly, like that. These are called not completely filled. These are partially filled materials. These are completely filled materials. Diamagnetic materials are complete. Orbital inner shells are completely filled. These paramagnetic materials, the shells are partially filled. These partially shell fields, once again, this alignment is random. By application of electric field, what happens? This is B. All will align parallel to the field. So alignment of permanent magnetic dipoles in the direction of magnetic field takes place. If you consider ferromagnetic materials, so there is spontaneous alignment. There is called orderly. This is called parallel spins. The spins are themselves aligned parallel to each other. The spins themselves align parallel to each other and forms a small region called domains. This is the domains. Okay, this is one domain. This is another domain. In this domain, all the spins are aligned in this direction, parallel and orderly in this direction. In this domain, this is domain 1, this is domain 2, this is domain 3, and this is domain 4. So this is called Bloch wall or domain wall. This we called as Bloch wall or domain wall. Between this domain and this domain, this is the boundary. This is called Bloch wall or domain wall. Okay. So in this domain, all the dipoles are arranged in this fashion. In this domain, in this domain. In this domain, all the dipoles are spins are parallel and orderly arranged in this domain. In this domain, all are arranged. So this is called spontaneous alignment of all magnetic dipoles within the domain. This is the spontaneous alignment of all permanent magnetic dipoles within the domain. If you apply the external field, what happens? V is called the external field direction. The field direction may move from left to right or right to left, whatever may be the field direction. Okay. So by application of external field, we call as H or we call as B, whatever it may be. Okay. B is directly proportional to H. All the dipoles aligned parallel to the field direction takes place. All the dipoles aligned parallel to the field direction. That's why it shows very strong magnetism. This material shows very strong magnetism. So in this, we go for the classification of these three in our syllabus, constrained to these three only. Okay. So diamagnetic, paramagnetic, and ferromagnetic materials. So what are the examples of these materials? Which material shows this magnetism? We need a few examples from periodic table. So our periodic table represents these elements. These elements are diamagnetic. These elements are paramagnetic. These elements are ferromagnetic materials. Okay, so I will show that periodic table. So these are the examples for diamagnetic materials. So our syllabus is constrained to these three. So diamagnetic materials. So what are the examples of diamagnetic materials? These are the examples. Zinc, copper, you have to remember, silver, gold. These are the examples for diamagnetic materials. Zinc, copper, silver, gold. These are the examples. Cadmium, mercury, lead, bismuth. These are the examples for diamagnetic materials. What are diamagnetic materials? Substance which get weakly magnetized in a direction opposite to the direction of applied field when placed in an external field are known as diamagnetic materials. All are completely filled shells. In that completely filled shells, if we place the materials in the external magnetic field, they'll opposite to the applied field. This is the field direction D or H. The magnetization is opposite direction to the applied field and weakly magnetized. Why? Due to no spin alignment. There is no permanent dipoles, only induced dipoles, and there is no alignment. So the another one is paramagnetic materials. So these are the examples for paramagnetic materials. What are the examples? Magnesium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, strontium, calcium. These are the examples. Aluminium, tungsten, magnesium, Mg. Mg is called magnesium, chromium, vanadium, manganese, Mn. Okay, these are the examples for paramagnetic. In these paramagnetic materials, they have some permanent dipoles. These permanent dipoles are randomly oriented. These permanent dipoles are randomly oriented. By application of electric field, this is the direction of the field, they will magnetize in this direction. Okay, so that's why called. Okay, substance which get weakly magnetized or feebly magnetized in the direction of the field. See, this is the direction of the field and this is the direction of magnetization. So in the direction of the field, they are getting magnetized in the external magnetic field are known as paramagnetic materials. So you have to remember all the definition as well as the examples: aluminium, tungsten, manganese, air, liquid, oxygen. Okay, another important material we are discussing is called ferromagnetic material. See, these are called ferromagnetic materials. So iron, cobalt, nickel, these are the examples which shows very strong magnetism. Why they shows very strong magnetism? Due to the presence of spontaneous alignment of dipoles in domains. Spontaneous alignment of dipoles in the domains, they show such a strong magnetism. Okay, so these are the domains. Okay, in each domain this is alignment. I am showing one, it's not one, it is many. In this direction, in this direction, in this direction, in this direction, they show such a strong magnetism. So I'm explaining this dia paramagnetic not only example in terms of its susceptibility chi and its temperature and relative permeability, spin alignment. So I'm doing classification based on its susceptibility. Chi is called magnetic susceptibility, T is called temperature, mu r is known as relative permeability. Okay, spin alignment. Once again explaining this dia para ferro based on its these parameters. Okay, and B in, B out. So let us see that one. So this is the dia para ferro and magnetic materials. So what is diamagnetic materials? Diamagnetic materials are weakly magnetized. Okay, these are feebly magnetized. These are strongly magnetized. When you place these materials in external magnetic field, when you place these materials in external magnetic field, these are weakly magnetized in the direction of applied magnetic field. They are the diamagnetic materials are weakly magnetized in the direction opposite to the applied electric field. These are feebly magnetized in the direction of the applied electric field. These are strongly magnetized in the direction of applied electric field. And you observe the spin alignment of these dipoles. Okay, there is no spins here. So why completely filled orbitals? These are completely filled, no spin alignment. Completely filled orbitals. These are partially filled orbitals. These are also called partially filled. Both are partially filled, but you have to see the spin alignment. In the second case, in the paramagnetic materials, what is the spin? Random spin alignment here. Random spin alignment. Here it is parallel and order. Parallel and order spin alignment. So parallel and spin order alignment means formation of domains. Parallel and orderly. Due to parallel and orderly alignment and forms a small region called domains. That's why they shows strong magnetism. Cause, I'm talking about cause. Cause is due to random alignment of spins. This cause, the magnetism is caused due to the formation of domains. In each domain, all the spins are parallel and orderly. And see the susceptibility, chi. Susceptibility, we call it as chi. Chi is known as magnetic susceptibility. Chi can be written as M by H. Chi is known as magnetic susceptibility. M is called magnetization. So Chi talks about how easily the material is magnetized. Okay, for diamagnetic materials, it doesn't magnetize. That's why it is low and negative. That's why Chi is less than 1. What you can write? Chi is less than 1. These are feebly magnetized. That's why Chi is greater than 1. These are strongly magnetized, this material. That is, Chi is greater than 1. And you have to see how the Chi depends on temperature. Whether the susceptibility of the material depends temperature or not, you have to see. Here, the susceptibility is independent of temperature for diamagnetic materials. So it is independent of temperature. So it is independent of temperature. This diamagnetic material susceptibility is independent of temperature. So here for paramagnetic material, susceptibility depends on temperature. How it is related? Inversely proportional to temperature. Susceptibility is inversely proportional to temperature for paramagnetic susceptibility. This law is known as Curie's law. So what it concludes? With increase of temperature, susceptibility decreases. Susceptibility decreases means magnetization of the material decreases. If you increase the temperature for paramagnetic materials, if you increase temperature, that is called thermal. Temperature means thermal energy. The material gets heated. And the material gets heated, it loses its magnetism. It loses its magnetism. That's why the relation is called Curie's law. Chi equal to C by T. It loses its magnetism. As temperature increases, susceptibility decreases means it loses its magnetism. Similarly, for ferromagnetic materials, the susceptibility is also depends on temperature, and this law is known as Curie's law. Okay, Curie's law. Chi is equal to C, that is called Curie's constant, by T minus T. Tc. What is Tc? Tc is called Curie temperature. So when the temperature of the material is less than Curie temperature, so the behavior of the material is ferromagnetic behavior. Ferromagnetic behavior. When the temperature of the material is greater than Curie temperature, okay, the behavior is called paramagnetic behavior. What is the difference between ferro and para? Ferro means strong magnetism. Para means feeble magnetism. There is no formation of domains in para. In ferro, there is a formation of domains. This is random spin alignment. This is orderly spin alignment. So this we define the temperature that is called Curie temperature. Okay, when the material temperature is less than Curie temperature, different materials will have different Curie temperatures. Iron will have its own Curie temperature. Cobalt has its own Curie temperature. Nickel has its own Curie temperature. So when the temperature of the material is less than Curie temperature, it always shows ferromagnetic behavior. Greater than Curie temperature, it is called paramagnetic behavior. The same I am showing here by graph here. You see the graph. This is the graph chi versus T. See here for diamagnetic materials, with increase of temperature, what happens? Susceptibility. There is no change in the susceptibility. Always remains constant. If you observe for paramagnetic materials, susceptibility temperature increases. What happens to susceptibility? Decreases. So what is susceptible decreases means it loses its magnetism. The material loses its magnetism. Next, if you observe for the ferromagnetic materials, this is called Curie temperature. Okay, this point is called Curie temperature. When T less than Tc, it is showing ferromagnetic nature, strong magnetism. T greater than Tc, it's once again loses its magnetism. That is called feeble magnetism. When it shows feeble magnetism, we call it as para. Strong magnetism, ferro. So its behavior is characterized by Curie temperature. Ferromagnetic material behavior is characterized by Curie temperature. That is called Tc. So if you see the spin alignment, no spin alignment present. Why? All are completely filled orbitals. Spins are randomly oriented. If you apply the field, they will come to the field direction. So that's why it is called random spin alignment, random oriented alignment, no spin alignment. All spins are orderly oriented. So this orderly oriented, we call it as domain. Called as domain. So next we'll see. So this is chi, and see the relative permeability of the material. So this is relative permeability, mu r. Mu r is called relative permeability. Always less than 1. The material doesn't allow lines of force to pass through it, mu r1. It allows few lines of force. It allows more lines of force to pass through it. Permeability, ability of the material to allow lines of force to pass through it is known as permeability. It is less than 1. It is less than 1. It is greater than 1. It is greater than 1. The same it will shown in terms of B in or B out. Permeability is always related with induction, magnetic induction. See this one, B in and B out. So B is called magnetic induction. What is magnetic induction? Lines of that is a flux per unit area. How many lines of force passing per unit area is called magnetic induction. B out is the external magnetic field applied. So this is the material. What type of material it is? Diamagnetic material. So the diamagnetic, when you place this diamagnetic material in external magnetic field, what happens? It doesn't allow lines of force to pass through it. Why? It has its own magnetic field. So due to the presence of dipoles, so there is no spin alignment. It has its own magnetic field. That magnetic field opposes this applied magnetic field. That's why B in is less than B out. There is no induction. So it is not magnetizing. If lines of force passes through the material, it will magnetize. Otherwise, it doesn't magnetize. These are diamagnetic. What are the examples for diamagnetic materials? These are the bismuth, zinc, water, gold. If you see paramagnetic materials, B in is greater than B out. So it allows few lines of force to pass through it. When the materials allows lines of force to pass through it, what happens? It shows feeble magnetism. These are the examples. Aluminum, platinum, manganese, copper chloride, cupric chloride. And next one, this B in is greater than B out. these materials allow more lines of force to pass through it. That's why B is greater than B out. That's why it just shows strong magnetism. So that's why B is non-linear function of H in ferromagnetic materials. Here it is linear function of H, B. It is non-linear. Here it is linear. Okay, these are about the classification of magnet. So what you have to remember, spin alignment. In dia, para, ferro, spin alignment you have to see. You have to see what is susceptibility chi, what is relative permeability, how susceptibility depends on temperature. Next examples. Okay, spin alignment you have to see. There is no spin alignment dia. In para, spins are randomly oriented. In ferromagnetic materials, they are orderly, parallel and orderly arranged and forms a domains. Okay, and each domain is separated by domain wall. And you have to see the susceptibility chi and mu r, relative permeability and induction. Okay. So it is clear, students.